Hello friends, I welcome you to the iTutor Physics lectures. These lectures are made with respect to NEET preparation. Don't worry about the mathematics part. You being the medical aspirant, you might be afraid what kind of mathematics will be involved in physics, and many of your friends and relatives would actually make you aware of the fact that mathematics is utmost necessary part to understand the physics. Yes, it is, they are not wrong, but we will deal with all these things and we will also tell you shortcuts and tips how to overcome that fear and how to solve those things. Now the second question which will come to your mind is, why do I need physics? I want to become a doctor. Biology will be more relevant. What's the need of it? So answer to this question is, physics is something which can explain everything around you which is happening currently. If you can imagine that any engineer can make a desktop, a laptop, an AC, a fan without even following the basic physics laws? No, it is not possible. And that's why it is quite astonishing that human mind is such an incredible thing that it tries to reason whatever is around itself. And one such common thing is it observes things clearly. Then it tries to find an identical patterns and try to reason it. Then it tries to predict the events and control them. So the point is, how to reason with these things, physics is the only answer you have. So friends, let's start with the very first chapter, that is physical world. In this chapter, we are going to study what is physics, scope and excitement of physics, what is the relation between society, science and technology, what are the fundamental forces in nature, and what is the nature of physical laws. So before we proceed, what is physics? Let's first talk something about science, because physics is just a branch of science and you are very well aware what science is, but let's have a look. So starting with the word that what is science? Friends, around us there's lot of diversity in life. So the world has an amazing variety of materials and incredible diversity of life and behavior. Next is human mind tries to observe everything which is around us and tries to understand them. And in order to know and understand, science comes into existence. The word science originates from the Latin word scientia, meaning to know. And in my words, the definition of science would be that it is a systematic, step-by-step knowledge acquired through observation and experience aimed at understanding a natural phenomena to the maximum possible extent. And the knowledge is used to predict and control the environment around us. So we have understood that the nature or the whatever things are living beings, diversity which is around us, we want to understand that. That's the intricacy of human mind. And that ability or curiosity to know, it's basically leading us to science. So by this systematic step-by-step study of acquiring knowledge and trying to understand the nature to maximum possibility and using that knowledge to predict and control environment. This is science, friends. Now moving ahead, basically science does not involve a single step. It is a series of things which led us to a particular theory that this particular event is happening because of a particular reason. So let's understand what are those steps. When I say it is a step-by-step method of acquiring knowledge, what are those steps? That's the first question. So the very first step is the systematic observations. Now what is systematic observations? Let's understand that, but before we will see all those steps here. So the systematic observation, then we perform controlled experiments, then is qualitative and quantitative reasoning, next comes the mathematical modeling, then comes prediction on the basis of modeling, and the last is verification or falsification of theories. Now let's talk about the systematic observations. When you talk about the systematic observations, it is basically whatever phenomena is happening around you, you take a note of it, that what incident is happening at what point of time, and you frame a possible remedy in your mind that this incident is happening because a particular thing. Let's say an apple falls from the tree, so you make a mind that this apple is maybe falling due to gravity. So this apple fall at t equals to 0 from the plant, and at that particular 2 seconds it reached the ground. This was the velocity, this is the acceleration, and all those things. That is the systematic observation. Now the question comes, why the systematic observation is required? Friends, it is required to remove any bias you may have in your mind. So when we are done with the systematic observation, now let's talk about the control experiments. So whenever you talk about the control experiment, the best experiment I can relate you with is, you might have performed an experiment using a sunflower plant where you wanted to prove that it bent towards the light. You might have used two boxes with two sunflower plants in it. In one, you would have made a hole through which sunlight can come, and the other there was no such hole. So the box which was containing the sunflower plant with a hole, you will see that after some time the sunflower will move towards or bend towards the whole area where the sunlight is coming from, and the second part where there was no hole, the sunflower did not bend. So in this experiment you proved your point that sunflower will bend towards the light, and the other part where there was no hole in the box, it worked as a control experiment. What I want to tell you, control experiment is the same replica of the experiment you want to do, but it lacks one thing which you want to change and prove your point with. Now we come to qualitative and quantitative reasoning. This is the heart of growth of science, where the laws of nature are expressible in terms of mathematical equations. There is a point which I wanted to tell you. As you all are aware that physics is the king of science and mathematics is the queen. And these two cannot be separated from each other to understand the science. So when you understand the nature, that's physics. But when you jot down that nature laws onto paper in the form of mathematical equation, that will help you analyze and understand the nature very properly, and this will also help you in further steps. Which are the further steps? Then the next step from qualitative and quantitative reasoning is mathematical modeling. Here you will try to predict that basis on the pointers we have gathered and the equations we have made, this is going to happen. And this will be the case. Like there's an object which is moving with constant speed, you will know that in this particular time this particle will be at this position. So this is a mathematical model. And based on that mathematical modeling, what you do is you predict that what is going to happen in the future. That helps us to ascertain many other fundamental phenomena. Moving ahead, now verification and falsification of theories. Now before we go ahead with this, we need to understand some things. As you all are aware that assertion, hypothesis or a theory is made up on the basis of understanding what we observed around us, right? Now whenever a theory is formed and there's an observation which says this theory is not valid for this particular observation, then that is known as falsification. And what is falsified? A theory for which stands false for a particular observation is known as falsified. So friends, whenever there is an observation or a physical experiment outcome which can possibly or logically prove an experiment to be wrong in a particular state, that is known as falsification and verification, and it is very much necessary for the improvements in day-to-day activities. This was the reason that Bohr was able to form a new theory after Rutherford. So every time there is a shortcoming in a theory, and with the help of this falsification process, we develop theories again and again till we reach to the perfect manner. So friends, this is the systematic understanding of the nature which is happening around us. All the phenomena can be understood by these phenomena, right? Now let's move on to a critical part where I hope you will be aware of these, but still I want to take it in front of you, that what is physics? Physics is a branch of science where we observe, measure and try to describe the natural phenomena which is related to matter and energy. And also, if you can understand, this is one of the many disciplines of science, and this word comes from the word physis. It's a Greek word that means nature. So by definition, if you understand, physics is a branch of science in which we observe, measure, describe the natural phenomena which are related to matter and energy. So we are going to deal with this topic, physics, for the complete session. I hope you have understood the journey till now. that we will be going on describing small things in a very simplified manner with connect to the day-to-day life activities. And we will focus on definitions and the terms which you need to know and write that in the school exam. So till now what we have covered is the steps of systematic observation for science that carries 1 marks or 2 marks in your school, and then comes the definition what is physics. Now let's move ahead to understand a core area of hypothesis, model, axioms and theory. These are the 4 terms. They may come into your school exams as definitions and they are important to understand. Starting from the term hypothesis. What is a hypothesis? Whenever you see that a particular phenomena is happening around you, you will assess it, observe it and will try to reason that. That's the way your human mind is made up of. So the reason which you come up with, because that this phenomena is happening due to particular this reason, that is known as hypothesis. It may be right, it may be wrong, I am not aware. Let's take an example that if an apple falls from the tree, you may think that it is due to gravity, or you may also think that it is due to the winds, or you may also come up with a very vague idea that the tree was dancing and the apple fell. These all things are known as hypothesis. Let's see what a hypothesis says. It's a supposition made on the basis of limited evidences as a starting point for further investigation. Now, you will proceed with a particular observation and then you will form a model. What is a model? It is a theory which is proposed to explain a particular observed phenomena. So you will frame a hypothesis in your mind and you will prepare a model which will try to explain that hypothesis. Let's take an example of Bohr's atomic model. You will be studying this in chemistry in very much detail. I'm just getting to the basic part. With the Bohr's model of hydrogen atom, it assumed that an electron in the hydrogen atom follows certain rules. And with the help of this assumption, Bohr was able to explain a large amount of spectroscopic data. So Bohr observed some natural phenomena, saw data, made a hypothesis and then predicted a model that this is the possible model which can explain each and every phenomena which I am seeing around it. That's a model is. So we have covered with the part of what is hypothesis and what is model. Now let's move on to the next term, that is theory. What is theory? Theory is used for a mathematical framework which is derived from the small set of basic postulates. That means rules. So whatever defined rules we know, we try to write down that law of nature into a mathematical framework, and which is capable of producing experimental predictions. Basis on that mathematical framework or formula, you will predict that this will happen at a particular instant. These predictions for a given category of physical system. So with the help of theory, you are able to develop a mathematical framework or a formula which will help you identify that in this condition this will going to happen. Next we come to part of axiom. What is axiom? It's a self-evident truth. Like charge is conserved in the universe. You cannot prove it. You can verify it again and again, but it is a self-evident truth. So anything which is accepted as a self-evident truth is known as an axiom. As you can see here, it's a proposition which cannot be proven within the system based on them. It is a logical statement. It is a truth which is self-evident. It can be verified again and again but cannot be proven. So we are done with the theory and axiom as well. So now we have understood and already covered at least 1 marker question from these 4 cases. These will be asked in your school exams, probably the midterm exams. Now when we have understood that what is science, we have understood what is the systematic study pattern, we have understood that what is physics and what is axiom, theory, hypothesis and a model. We now need to understand what are the intricacies of physics. That means what is the main basic pillars of physics. In the next video, we are going to proceed with these topics. Let's move ahead for the next topic.